Welcome to Comadres y Comics. Comadres y Comics is a podcast hosted by 3 Latina women.
We highlight the Latinx presence in the comic book industry as creators, characters, and fans.
Join us as we talk chisme, comics, fandom, and beer. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Comadres y Comics. This is episode 255. We're your hosts. I'm Sara.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Welcome, ladies. Here we are
Hello.
again.
Hi.
And tomorrow is the 4th of July. Not feeling really
Yay.
American, but
Right.
I welcome the 3-day weekend.
They're not treating us like Americans, so I think it's very valid.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
I am not working a job where I have to go. And even when I was for the shop, there is not really holidays for retail. So we would always give the employees a day off and we would go in and work if they wanted to. And most of them did. So this year, I guess it was last year too, but this year I was like, I feel like it's a 3-day weekend. I feel like it's the Friday of a 3-day weekend. Like, I just want to like go out and party. And then I'm like,
No, same. What is it? Like the other day, my friends wanted to go out, there's a casino near us that has like a really good restaurant that has a great happy hour.
Oh, nice.
And they're like, let's go. And I was just like, I'm off at work at 5:30. And I wasn't off of work at 5:30. I did an hour of overtime. So by the end of it, I was just like, absolutely not. I'm going home. I'm going home to sleep because I have to be back here at like freaking 5 a.m. Yeah.
Oh,
And
no.
so, yeah. So like in the moment, I was just like, you know what? Yeah, let's go after work. And then by the end of work, I was just like, no, you couldn't pay me. Like, even if you buy my drinks, I would be like, nah, I would rather go home.
Oh, that's serious. If you're gonna buy my drinks, I'll make time.
Incredible.
Well, I finally blew up the kiddie pool.
I
and
saw.
So I'm just I got myself a 12-pack of Voodoo Ranger, and then
Nice.
and I'm gonna have a nice little weekend
Nice.
Very cool.
side
Yeah.
with the Voodoo Ranger. So that's
And
exciting for me.
Is Frank still home?
Yes.
So will he be barbecuing and making yummy food?
You know what? I actually don't know, but there's this restaurant that is in a home in their backyard.
Oh yeah, I've
That we
seen
saw
a
on
bunch
TikTok.
of those actually.
Yeah, that we want to go
On
to. So
TikTok.
hopefully they'll be open. I texted
Oh,
to
cool.
ask them if they were open, but they didn't respond. But it's in Watts, so I figure we'll just drive down there and find out.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
We're gonna have
Let us know.
aguachile y pescado zarandeado. So I'm excited.
Ooh.
Yeah, and homemade
Sounds really
tortillas.
good.
So I'll let you know definitely.
nice.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Chisme de la Semana. Kristen, I know you have some chisme. It's piping hot.
Yes, so I have been sharing the behind the scenes distribution chisme over the last couple of weeks. And last week I shared about Dynamite and how Diamond owed them over $500,000, probably more now each day, each week that goes by. The invoices or whatever, I guess, pile up. And this last week, Dynamite actually approached the court, the bankruptcy court, and basically begged them, please move this forward much quicker than what you're doing now, because if we don't start getting money, we are not going to be able to make payroll this week. And
Wow.
so I started seeing people sharing that article online, and then I started seeing people who I know write for Dynamite and work for Dynamite that I'm friends with on Facebook sharing, like David Avalone, who is a big Vampirella? No. Who's the big booby girl? Elvira. I'm like, big booby girl. He's a big Elvira writer for Dynamite. Came out and commented on one of the posts that I saw that said, well, there goes my rent money. So when you're actually seeing the creators sharing about how this is personally affecting them, it's just so like horrible that this thing that happened with Diamond is just continuing to just like steamroll through the entire industry and creating such a big wake of just destruction everywhere. It's just super, super sad. And so in response to that, what they have done, what Dynamite has done, is basically made what they called a humble package. And I guess that means like they're humbly asking for help. So they put together a digital package, mostly all of Disney titles. So Lilo and Stitch, Cruella de Vil, Negaduck, and I think there might have been one more. And it's 18 titles, and depending on how much money you give is how many titles you get. No, $18. If you give $18, you get, I think, geez, like a lot of titles, like 24 plus or something like that. If you give like a couple of dollars, you get 4. So it depends, but 18 is the cutoff, where if you do at least 18, you'll get all of them. And they're all digital, and they're basically saying, please help us, because we want to be able to pay our creators. We want to be able to pay not just our creators, the people that are here in the offices behind the scenes who make Dynamite what it is, and you know, day to day administrative things. So they they put together that package and they released it. I saw it today, so you know, yesterday or today they released it, and so we'll share that in our in this episode. I'll look for it as we're talking, because I meant to grab the URL and I forgot. But definitely, if you have any money that you would like to support Dynamite with, you're going to get something back. And I've heard a lot of good stuff actually about these Disney titles. So if you're a Disney fan at all, definitely check it out. And you know, whether it's $1, $2, $4, or all the way up to the 18 tier, the money is going to support creators and people in the industry at Dynamite.
Wow, that's, oh man, that's just tragic. Actually, not being able to make payroll is just terrible. It must be terrible for a business.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. So also, do you guys remember Aftershock?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so Aftershock, if you don't remember as a listener, if you're one of the people who don't remember, was a small, or is a small publishing company who we actually partnered with a few times at Heidi Ho. They had really great titles. They are the publishers of Animosity. That's the story of what happens if one day you wake up and all the animals in the world become sentient and actually take over the world. That story, there was the story Walk Through Hell, which was a Garth Ennis book. Dark Ark that we read, where the story of what if there was an opposite boat, opposite of Noah's Ark, where Noah, you know, took all the cutesy animals. What if there was a separate ark that took all of the mythological creatures? Do you guys remember reading that book? No. We did. So anyway, they filed for bankruptcy 2 years ago, and there was so much drama going on around their bankruptcy, because basically all of their creators started coming out and being like, hey, where's my money? Aftershock hasn't paid me. They owe me this much money, blah, blah, blah. And Aftershock was like, things are fine. We're taking care of business, blah, blah, blah. And turns out things weren't fine, and they couldn't take care of business, and they filed for bankruptcy. And so there was just a little blurb in Comic Shop News this week that said they're coming back, that these last 2 years they've worked on raising money and worked through bankruptcy court, and they are going to basically make pay all of the creators that are owed money and start working back on publishing again. So I don't know how they're going to be um, received through creators, because, and this is just from an outside point of view, it seemed like things were pretty shady and that creators really felt like they weren't being told the truth, and they were kind of, being led on, and not like basically telling them one thing and then not doing it. So I don't know how creators are going to respond to that, or to react to it, to want to write with them, and to draw with them. But I guess we'll see. I loved Aftershocks titles. I don't think there was an Aftershock title that I didn't like. They really had a lot of horror that you guys know that I like. So it's all part of just the crazy chaotic uh stuff that's going on within the industry right now. So I mean, we're just holding on and taking the ride.
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. Well, that has been our chisme. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's on my radar, and I'm on my radar. This is going to be a long 3-day weekend, and I might have to binge a few shows, which are Ironheart, Daredevil, and Andor. All Disney Plus titles. I'm very
Ooh.
excited. I can't wait. I've heard good things about all three. My husband currently is watching um, Ironheart in Spanish and Espanol, if you
Oh,
will.
Very
nice.
nice.
He's like, I'm really loving the show, and I'm like, oh, good. I'm so glad, because sometimes he trashes my stuff, like my geek stuff. He's like, ugh, why do you like that? And then I'm like, but you don't understand. And then him liking this is kind of like, oh, this is going to be really great. So it's very exciting. What is on your radar, Kristen?
Well, on my radar is a book called Titans 2025 Annual. And the reason it's on my radar is not so much that I'm a Titans fan, but it is written and drawn by Phil Jimenez, who is a Latino creator. He's writing and drawing it, and it is the story that is going to be told this annual. I have right straight out of my comic shop news from this week. It's going to be about Diana Troy. So,
Okay.
oh, actually, well, here's the cover. And I actually have it on my phone that I was reading earlier. And it was kind of interesting because I don't know much about. I'm sorry, I said Diana, but Donna Troy.
I
Um,
understood you.
um, the story is going to be Donna Troy reflecting on the many loves and lives that has shaped her throughout her whatever life that she's living in New York City, where she's gonna go meet her estranged father for the very first time. So again, I don't know much about Donna or her story or her origin or anything like that, but that to me sounds like a real um true human interest story, and super personal. And I really enjoy when superhero comics get into the humanity of the heroes. So that is Titans 2025 annual number one. It's going to be coming out at the end of this month, July 30th. And I believe that final order cutoff is this next week. So by the time you're hearing this, FOC will already have passed, but you can still let your shop know that you want it because they probably ordered a little bit more and you can grab it, or they can order it for you if they didn't, and then it'll just come a couple of weeks later. But Phil Jimenez is Latino creator, and he is writing and drawing this book.
Oh,
Very cool.
nice. Very, very cool. Also, I'd like to add on our radar is the fact that our audio has been a little bit wonky, and we apologize for that last episode. I don't know why my audio is being such an asshole. Fucking audio. So anyway, we are working on it, and so please don't hate us. And if you want, comment on how bad our audio is, and then we'll shout you out, which is always cool. Interact with us, guys, please, por favor. Oh my gosh, es la hora de la cervecita. All right, guys, what are we drinking today?
Punk's Not Dead IPA. And there is a punk right on the can. This reminds me, what was that show? Suburbia. Did you ever see Suburbia? As a young teenager, Sara.
Eddie, why doesn't Eddie have a mohawk?
I know. Actually, I got this beer specifically because, right, it reminded me of Eddie. So this beer segment has been brought to you by it reminded me of Eddie and his punk rock days, and so I got this. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be cool. And it tells you what it has. It has a hop Centennial, Citrus, Eureka, HBC 586, Simcoe, Malt, American 2-row Crystal 45. I don't know what that means, but it's a 7.2 alcohol by volume, and it says Boneyard beer brewed and canned by Faction Brewing Company. It's in Alameda, California, it says here.
Boneyard is from Bend, Oregon, and then brewed and canned by Faction, which is in Alameda. So I guess it's some kind of collaboration. Yeah.
Oh.
And it's a West Coast IPA, which I'm assuming that's what WC stands for.
I want to like it so bad, but
I know. I told Eddie, the beer this week, you'll probably just like it as far as the title, because he's not an IPA person. But it smells amazing. Oh my God, Jen's just went everywhere.
Oh no. Oh no. It has a good color, and it looks like it has a lot of fizz, obviously, because it exploded on Jen.
Yeah.
For Jen.
It smells really good, though.
It smells great.
I'm already a cocktail of chemical reactions right now.
Well, I'm loving the can art. That's specifically why I got it. But yeah, it looks like this could be Eddie in the green mohawk.
I wonder if he ever had a mohawk. I don't think so.
Maybe not. I don't think so either. But he should.
Eddie, did you ever have a mohawk?
No, but I had blue hair for a while.
Nobody had blue hair for a while.
Oh, look at that.
All right. His punk card is established once again.
Oh my God. One time I went to a Friendsgiving, and the only friend I knew was the girl that was driving me there. I didn't know anybody there, but they were all eating and stuff. And because I didn't know anybody, and I didn't know this, but I was socially awkward. Well, I didn't know what it was called. So I started washing the dishes, as my contribution. And there was this guy who was like mesmerized by the fact that I washed the dishes, and he had this like spiky hair. And I was like, damn, I'd like to date that.
Okay, you want to hear my punk story real fast?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was goth in high school, and I had, I basically had Robert Smith hair, and I was at a dance, and there was this guy that came in with a fucking mohawk, and I'm like, who's this person? I've never seen this person before. And I'm sitting on the ground with my friends in the high school gym. Turns out, long story short, he was a friend of somebody I went to high school with. He saw me, and he asked his he wasn't a friend, he was the cousin. He asked his cousin. They connected us. We talked on the phone. He asked me to be his girlfriend, but he lived in like a neighboring town, and I didn't drive. I did drive at the time. But it was so awkward because he was like real, like bald head, mohawk, everything. I was so intimidated that one day he came to visit me. He had driven to my town from the town he was in. He came to visit me, and I was home, but I hid. And I didn't answer the door.
No. Oh my. That
Imagine how different my life would have been if I answered the door for that mohawk.
Yeah.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I would have answered the door for the mohawk.
I would have answered the door for the
I would
mohawk.
have been a
I
quick
was-
degenerate for the mohawk. TBH.
I was so like intimidated because he was a little bit older than me, and so I was like, "This guy came. He didn't even tell me he was coming," and I just got like nervous. So yeah, I didn't answer the door, and finally he went away.
Oh, sadness.
You were probably that guy's wet dream, actually. A goth girl, a young goth girl. Oh,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
He wanted it bad.
Yeah, I was wearing a velveteen dress, dark brown, and all my like necklaces and stuff. And he was just like talking to me while I was washing the dishes. He was just so like impressed that I was washing the dishes. Like I was like, "Don't you clean after yourself?" Like, I don't know, but he was really hot. And yes, I was intimidated by the spiky hair.
Yeah.
It wasn't a mohawk, but it was like the spiky hair, and I was like, how does he get it to stick and stay like that in my brain? I think he got my pager number, but I don't think he called me. I don't think he didn't follow through. But
This dude's name was Danny. I do remember that.
I don't remember my punk guy story. I mean, name. Anyway, I really am enjoying this beer. Actually, honestly, I thought that was going to be a little harsh, but it's
Me
really
too.
good.
It's
Yeah,
very
no.
good. I taste pineapple. I taste a little bit of tangerine. There is a hoppy aftertaste, as is with IPAs, but it's not overpowering for me. And the bouquet of it was really, really fruity, and it actually really
me-
complemented the tastes of it.
To me, it's pretty
Yeah.
floral, and I don't mind that at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really just kind of like honestly, like I think I feel a little bit cheated because I thought it was going to be hard punk rock core, but no, it's kind of just like beautiful. Kind
I
of
mean,
like
that could be the punk of it. It
Yes!
still defied your expectations.
Yep.
It went the other route.
Yep. There you go.
I'm really liking it. I'm not mad at this at all. I'm really, really impressed with this. The bouquet, as you say, is very, very delicious. So, what do you, and I like the fact that they gave us information on what they use as far as ingredients.
Means nothing to me, but we have the information.
Yes, we do, we do. And I like the can art. I like when they go out of their way to create like creative can art, and yeah, I'm really loving that part. So, are we ready to rate it? And what is our rating scale?
Yeah, so we have a 5-point rating scale where 1 out of 5 is very unsatisfied, a 2 out of 5 is just regularly unsatisfied, a 3 out of 5 is neutral right in the middle, 4 out of 5 is satisfied, and a 5 out of 5 is very satisfied. And if the beer is amazingly off of the charts, it is a Super Saiyan. And I'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I actually really enjoy it a lot. I haven't had an IPA in a while that actually I've enjoyed this much. We've had a couple IPAs recently that I really did like, but this is really good. And I do think that the nostalgia of my punk guy story kind of pushed me over the edge, and so I'm giving it a 5 out of 5.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I'm going to give it also a very satisfied. I again was completely surprised. I'm loving the surprise. I'm loving the can art, the effort that was made to brew this beer. I think it's really on point. So very satisfied. What about you, Jen?
I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I was gonna give it a 3 out of 5, but you guys kind of convinced me over it, and it's very sippable for me as well.
Would you date a punk?
I'd fuck a punk, yeah.
Oh my
Date, fuck, whatever.
Whatever you guys call it nowadays.
I totally missed out. I should have
But
been
I don't
more
know. I
aggressive.
think I scare them, like, or I don't know. Because when I go out with like my getup, I think I come across off as like a dom or something when that's very much not what I am. So
Really? I'm interested in this tidbit.
oh my god. I mean, it depends. If it's like like a cis hetero like man,
Yeah.
I think I could pull off the dumb attire,
Yeah.
but I don't dress for the male gaze. You get me?
Right. Yes.
I dress for the queer
Yeah.
slash female gaze.
Yes.
And usually that lands me somewhere. So
Yeah.
like
I
I'm doing
mean,
something
there's
right.
there's
Hmm.
women punks, so I
Yeah.
just and women with their own sexy mohawk.
Yes, there are. But oh, tragically, they don't go, or at least I don't find them here in San Jose. I'd have to go to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm,
Got it.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you still have time.
I know, while I'm still young and beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that has been our peer review. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our book review. And today we are reviewing this book that had us all in the feels. It's called This Is How I Disappear by Mirion Malle. Am I saying it right? Male?
Well, she's European. I think she's
She's
French.
French.
Yeah, I don't
French
know how to
Canadian.
pronounce that.
Mirion Malle. That's how I
Mal.
would say it. Mirion
Okay.
Malle.
And
Median.
she drew it and wrote it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Um I've been we've in I've been trying to skip this book because it looks so big. But
Yeah.
when I actually started reading it, I couldn't put it down, and I ended up staying up until like 1 in the morning reading it. And
I actually had the same. I
Mhm.
hadn't looked inside of it, so I wasn't trying to skip it purposefully. But when I did open it, when we chose it, I was like, "Oh my god, look at all these words!" But I agree with you; it went pretty quickly
mhm,
because the story was very engrossing for
Mhm.
me, and it was very engaging in a way that, like you said, had me in my feels because I think that well, we didn't read the back, so we
I
can
can
oh
read
read
it.
the
yes,
little
please
description
let
on
us.
the back.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's start with that. I don't know why I've been like getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry, guys. I've been throwing it out all the time. I apologize.
All right, I'll read it. Claire's at a breaking point. She's got writer's block. Her friends ask for a lot without giving much, and her demanding publishing job leaves little time for self care. She seeks solace in the community around her, yet she is often left feeling empty, unable to express an underlying depression that leaves her immobilized. Skillfully translated by Alicia Jensen and Bronwyn Haslam, This Is How I Disappear is an empathetic portrait of a young woman wrestling with life in the 21st century.
I like
Yes.
that name Bronwyn for some reason. I never heard it before.
Yeah, it's unique. It's a unique name.
Yeah.
It leaves an impression. I like it too.
So, as I was saying, the book deals with depression, and I have dealt with depression throughout multiple stages in my life for different reasons, mostly related to hormonal fluctuations in my teenage years, related to puberty and all the crazy things that are going on. Back during that time. And then in my 30s, I had been taking birth control for many, many years, since I was 15.
Mhm.
And I stopped taking it and didn't really realize what a job it was doing, kind of like evening out my hormones. Duh. I mean, I'm on hormonal birth control. So when I stopped, I started feeling like I was losing my mind, like I was going
Mhm.
crazy. And it wasn't till I realized, oh my God, I stopped taking my birth control. This makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Um, did it stop how I was feeling? No, but being able to cognitively understand what was happening to me took such a weight off my shoulder because I honestly thought that I was turning psychotic. Um, and so, and even now, when we sold, well, not we didn't sell Heidi Ho. when Heidi Ho shut down, I really went through a period of depression where I was just laying on the couch. I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't taking a shower. I didn't have any motivation to do anything. I would say I would do something, and then I wouldn't do it, and it was just one of those things where those were my behaviors, and then after a while I'd be like, recognize it and be like, oh, seems like I'm going through some depression here. And so I've been able to get better at recognizing it throughout the different stages in my life. But reading this book really, I think, took me back to the teenage me, because I actually then, not now, but had suicidal ideations. If you read my poetry, I think I've talked about this on the show. If anybody read my poetry back then in the day, I would have gotten locked up, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I
Real,
feel that.
yes. Mhm.
I had straight razors wrapped in tissue hidden throughout my room.
Oh,
Um,
my God.
That's just the goth girl's MO.
yeah, and I used to self-harm, not to any degree where like it was like really super noticeable, but like my mom would mention it, or like, oh, what are you doing, or whatever, but like it just was like I don't know, people talk about how physical pain relieves your emotional pain, and that honestly was what I felt. And it doesn't seem to make sense. And that's why I think, and I was speaking to this to some other people, that's why I believe that people who are addicted, not addicted, but who get multiple tattoos, that there's trauma there, because it's the physical pain.
Okay, call me out. Not me with my multiple tattoos.
When I was in sociology, anthropological sociology class, I came up with that like theory, and I've always thought about like how that would be super interesting to study, because it's a little bit of a crossover. There's the anthropology portion of this culture of tattoo culture, and then the psychology of trauma and also piercings. And so
Call me out, okay?
Dude.
and so anyhow, she is young 20 something. In my 20s, I don't really feel like I have a good grasp on my memory of like what I was going through, or what, like there were some times I remember my roommate telling me, asking me a lot, what's wrong, and me saying I don't know. And Eddie has that's happened to me too with Eddie, where he'd be like, and he's learned now to be like, is there something wrong, or are you just sad? And he's been able to like kind of maneuver and navigate that with me throughout our relationship. So
Dude, you just
I love
like
that for you.
unlocked these memories of my mom asking me what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong. I forgot all about that.
yeah.
This book hit me as well. I think it is a dangerous book in a way that it could unlock a lot of your like memories, but also I think it's a necessary book to show you you're not alone and you're not crazy. Like this
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
something
100%.
absolutely real,
Yeah.
and your feelings are valid, your panic attacks are valid, everything is valid, and the fact that maybe your friends don't know how to navigate through that with you, also valid, and we
Yeah.
get that a lot in this book. At times I feel like I don't want to be the one that says, oh, why can't you just not stop feeling like that,
Just don't be sad.
Yeah,
Just
just
don't
don't
be
be sad.
sad. Just let me
If
be
you can't
happy.
see, just open your eyes.
um but I have been the one also on the depressed side. And then the latest version of it for me was when the house caught on fire, and I just felt like if I just go away now, like does it even matter? Like I think it'll be even better. Like why am I even struggling with this? We should just like cease to exist. Like can I just like stop breathing, please? You know, and it was like I would describe it, and I have before on the podcast, where it felt like I was at a cliff, and there was darkness, and all I needed to do was just let myself cease to exist, and that would be fine with me, you know. But this book is just very incredible at telling that story, and I like the use of social media to tell the story as well. And I just felt that it was just really moving, and I think this author is so gifted for sharing the story with us. I'm not sure if it's even autobiographical, but I definitely feel like there's some kind of like familiarity with this character, and I really loved it. I really loved it. What about you guys?
So I have a confession. I was not able to finish reading it because reading it was really, I felt like a raw nerve. Like someone peeled back the layers of my skin and was just like rooting around in there because it was so in the beginning of the book, she starts out with talking to a therapist saying like the first time I had like ideas of like or like thoughts of killing myself when I was 12. And TBH, that's around when it started for me too, or at least like around that puberty age when it starts to set in. I think that is when like the last like whenever I like joke around it with my friends a lot as well, but I've like and I've said it too. The last time that I can think of that I was 100% like blissful, like happily blissful, was probably when I was in elementary school. After that, it's like I'm like I everything that I am, like I've been to therapy and it's helped at least in helping me identify when I'm in these moods, but I am definitely 100% on like, and we just talked about it a little bit, on a pretty much kind of self-destructive route. It's not bad yet, but it is one of those things where it's like I don't want it to get to be too like it's only a matter of time. And I try to surround myself with like friends and like people who care about me, but at the same time it's like it almost I can almost see the trajectory of my life, and it's not that I'm not happy with it, but I'm just like, you know what, if it is, it is. Which probably isn't a way to live life either way too, just trying to make it to the next day. But you know, as I was reading this, I just kept thinking was I was just like, oh, okay, so I'm not the only one who feels like this, so what the fuck is the point? So at some point I had to put it down because I was I felt like someone was digging around in my brain and scooping out these very fleshy parts of me, and I was just like, you know what? I think I'm good.
Yeah, and I think it spoke to all of us in that sense. I think there's not much conversations about the how a woman's body goes through these like extreme emotional changes. You know, it's and they are extreme. Let me tell you. Like I honestly thought I was going crazy when I was trying to find a correct oral contraceptive for me. I think I went to three different type of pills
Oh, wow.
because I was going nuts. Like it was just nuts. I would throw things. I would have these horrible tantrums, and I would have these super low lows. It's just crazy, and I don't think we talk about it enough that when a girl is like coming into her own, there's like a lot of like depression involved in that. A
So
lot.
And
much.
then when you get older, even less talked about is menopause.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
I just had a
It's like a
friend who,
forbidden subject.
Yeah, I just had a friend who said that she went to the gynecologist and was trying to talk to her about how she just felt shitty all the fucking time. And the doctor was like, "Let me ask you a question. Do you feel irrational rage at people in your life?" And my friend was like, "Yes, how did you know that?" She's like, "Dude, you need to be on hormone replacement therapy." And she said she started, and it completely changed her life, and she lost weight. So I was like, sign me the fuck up. But I'm actually on birth control right now because I have cysts on my ovaries, and that's why I take birth control, because my periods, the pain and the
Ooh.
bleeding was just completely out of control. And so they
Mm.
put me on birth control to manage that. So I feel like my emotions and my hormones are managed in that way because I am kind of on hormone replacement therapy. And so I'm really worried about ever them taking me off of that, because I feel like it's just going to be a shit show.
I right
Yes.
now I'm on the non-hormonal Marina,
Oh, uh-huh.
but even then, like sometimes I get my like, and here's the downside for it as well is that one when I first got it, I was like I think I was bleeding for like a month straight, like a month and a
Oh,
half straight.
yeah.
It was bad. After that though, is like I barely ever get my period. But the thing is, before I could gouge when I would like be PMSing hard and like my depression would strike. Now it's a fucking free for all.
Mm.
I like because I still get PMS symptoms, and then I'm just all like, like I could be having a good time, and then my next thought will be, you know what would make this even better if I just killed myself right now. I was just all like,
Oh,
and
ouch.
that happens to me a lot. Like you have like not even like once a day. Like it happens multiple times a fucking day.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, and it's not like I know it's not healthy, but I don't know what makes it better. I don't even know if antidepressants would work.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mhm.
because one of my other coworkers, she was on antidepressants, but she was still a mess. So I was just all like, what's even the point?
Antidepressants are hard because they take a prolonged amount of time for you to get the dosage right, and each person
Mhm.
is individually different in how they react to them and which one works for them. And so um, what happens is that people get frustrated because they're like, this doesn't fucking work, so what's the point?
Mhm.
Because they haven't found that right dosage or that right prescription yet. Or B, they start to work and then they're like, oh, I'm better, I don't need these anymore, and they
Yeah.
stop, and then it just goes spirals right back to where they were. So it's kind of hard to gauge whether or not you do need them or not.
Mhm.
um, on your own. You definitely need to have some sort of professional psychiatrist who, is versed in that and how it affects people. And I do think that women have it very tough, because not only are you dealing with, maybe chronic depression, but you're dealing with fucking hormones at the same time. And
Yeah.
Oh,
so we really
100%.
have it fucked.
Yeah. And
Oh,
it's
for
just
reals.
there was a scene in the book where I was just like, you know what? I feel that. I think it was like, hold on, I think I just passed it by. But it's just like it's incredible how like I can be normal about my day or like just doing like everything like okay, oh here we go. Like she's walking home from work, she's walking to work, she cries in the bathroom, and then she goes grocery shopping, and then she gets home and she's crying over cutting the onions. And
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes I feel like that's every fucking day, and it's exhausting. And then when like I'm in bed and everything, just like maybe tomorrow will be better. It's never fucking better. It's just the same thing over and over again. And I was like, and sometimes like I'm just like maybe I should do something else. So there's like drinking, there's drugs, there's like a whole bunch of things, and this all converges into like one glob of very bad self-medication, and then I crash out.
Yeah.
So
And for a suicidal person, it's not just about self medicating, it's
mhm.
honestly low key about self destruction as well. That it is
Yeah,
a long term way to reach your goal.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, it's we were talking about it earlier about how I am not 100% sober. But it like in the back of my mind, I know it, and it's almost like I can't fucking help myself. Even though like I know it'll worry my friends, I know it'll worry my family, but at the same time all I can think about, I was just like, I'll have no one to blame but myself. No one will have any pity for me, and that's what I want. Because right now, one of the main things that stops me from basically ending it all is knowing that I will make my friends and family sad. But if I do it in a way that makes it be like, oh no, but she deserves it because she was an alcoholic or she was a drug addict, then that will be the way that I win, but the way that I will be able to do it. And in a way that won't leave everybody else miserable.
I think a life without Jen, no matter what the reasons are, is a miserable life. So you
Absolutely.
can just put
Absolutely.
that thought out of your mind.
Yeah, you gotta
Um,
get rid of that one because no,
Yeah.
no, no,
but
Jen.
I understand you're trying to justify that in your mind. Ugh.
Um, and that's one of the subjects they touched up on this book is how like she thinks about like her friends and how they're gonna feel if she unalives herself, kind of thing. So I think it touched like a very deep analysis of this of Claire's life and the conversations she has with people and how she feels like she can't explain it, but also people can't relate to it, and
Mm-hmm.
that also becomes problematic because her friends are keep asking her questions. Are you okay? Are you okay? Because they're saying, okay, like, I don't want you to unalive yourself, because she talks about it so freely in a sense, but
Mm-hmm.
also where she keeps ghosting her friends, and so they actually stop asking her to go out, and I think that also is problematic. Like, it's just like just a really deep dive into this type of depression and how she's because she's actively working on it. She goes through therapy. She tries to find the right therapist. She's considering medication. Like, there is a lot going on there, and she says something that really really hit home for me. Sometimes I miss the pain, and I 100% identified with that in that moment. But let me just
Sometimes, can you repeat that? It something happened and it went out. I didn't hear what you said. Sometimes she missed what?
sometimes she misses the pain.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh man, that I actually said that one time out loud. And I was like, wow. Like, I
So there's
felt seen.
a theme in a lot of poetry by people who uh, were known to have succeeded in uh, their suicides. And there were things where they say feeling pain was kind of them knowing they were alive. Like, otherwise, they just felt dead and empty inside. And having that pain at least was something.
Wow. So there's a lot of things, and I think this book is very important because if you don't understand somebody going through this, this could help you kind of have an idea of what it's like for them,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Um no, I get that because it's so hard to explain how omnipresent it is. Like you
Hmm.
could be having, and there's just, like, definitely times where I've been like, I'm having the best day of my fucking life. I'm happy. I'm with people that I love and who I know love me, and then still at the back of my head, I'm just like, this is perfect. Like I could just like, the only thing that will like make this even better is if I like just keeled over the next day so that I can have this with me forever. So that I could die in this most blissful state. And at the same
Hmm.
time, like, I know it's not healthy, but I just can't help myself. And I've
Right.
like tried, I've done all the therapy. I'm like pretty sure it's like chronic depression without being like diagnosed by an actual psychiatrist and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's just like I know I frustrated my mom, especially, and it's funny how the phases go through it because definitely when I was like a tween slash teenager, you could definitely be like, oh, she's just a teenager, it's just a phase, it'll go away. But then at some point, I was just like, okay, if this is a phase, when do I stop feeling like this? When can I stop? Like basically feeling like this is just how I'm gonna feel forever. It sucks,
Yeah.
Wow.
but
I
it's yeah.
I did appreciate the way that they addressed the friend group as a whole, of how the friends kind of got frustrated in asking her over and over again to come out and her not wanting to. And
Mhm.
so at one point, one of the scenes is where she is out for the evening and she encounters two of her friends who are going on their way to meet the friend group, and she realizes she wasn't invited.
Mhm.
And um, it was kind of a blow to her when she realized I probably wasn't going to go anyway, but like it hurt to not be invited.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
I think that
Relatable.
I think that it's valid, and there is a value in addressing how it affects the friends of a
Mhm.
depressed person. Because I had a my best friend in high school had a suicide attempt, and of course I was a teenage girl who was going through her own issues and things like that, and I knew she was struggling, and
Mhm.
I knew that she would say things like, I just want to go home. And like, I think to another teenager, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Mhm.
What do you mean go home? You are here. You live with your parents. Like, as an adult looking back on the things that she used to say, like 100% she was giving,
Mhm.
hints about what she was thinking. And one morning she called me from the hospital and said, I tried to kill myself. I'm in the hospital.
Mhm.
And there was a relief in me
Mhm.
that now it was out in the open, and somebody else could try to help her because I didn't know how.
Yeah.
And so I think uh it was interesting and very valuable to talk about how a friend group has how they react to it, and how they can kind of sometimes not knowingly throw this person into a deeper depression
Mhm.
because of feeling maybe rejected or ostracized or whatever. But the friends just being at a loss of not knowing what to do and what to say, and how to be supportive.
Mhm.
And so I think that was really an interesting point of view to be able to add to the story. And I also like how at the end, not at the end, but further on in the story, she had friends who were also like, we don't give a fuck, you don't want to come, we don't give a fuck if you don't want to, you're going to come, and kind of forced her to like be out and be social. And I also thought it was very important for that to play out in a way that it wasn't the answer, and it didn't solve everything. But I think what is important is that you just continue to let the person know that you're always going to be there for them, and that you are supporting them, and you might not understand it, and you might not be able to fix it, but you care about them and you do the best that you can.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
as a person who is kind of in that situation, I can tell that it does like it helps, or at least it makes you for that brief moment makes you feel alive.
Hmm.
Well, I think we haven't packaged a lot And I think we're ready to rate the book. What is our rating scale, Kristen?
So we have a rating scale, which is a 3 concha rating scale. 3 conchas being the most conchas that Jen's mom ever let her eat in one sitting. So that was the best. And if we have a book that is off of that scale, then we give it our own personalized rating. And honestly, I'm gonna give it 3 conchas. I really don't feel like I can go over and above that because I was traumatized.
You know, it's the end of Pride Month. Might as well go out with a bang.
And so I am gonna give it 3 conchas. It was a hard read. I did finish it, but it was a hard read. And oops.
Also, we didn't even touch on, and the book made reference to, but didn't go into great detail. But she started feeling this way because there was some sexual violence as well. So there's that as well in the story. So just to let you guys know.
So I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? I don't know.
You're also traumatized, and you can't
Yeah,
give it
you
the
can't
full
go over 3
panaderia.
conchas because, yeah.
Okay. I don't know where I was going with that, but I know what I was saying. I think definitely as a teen, I would have appreciated reading this book because it would have made me feel normal.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And knowing that other people were going through this, even though she feels ostracized, and it would have made me feel like I'm not the only one, and that gives it some sense of normalcy. And so I think in that sense, I would have really loved to have read it when I was younger. And I probably would have then been just as obsessed with Mirion Malle as I was with Anne Sexton and Sylvia Plath.
Mood. Yeah.
But reading it now in my older years, it did bring up a lot of other emotions and feelings and stuff like that. And not that I didn't identify with it or anything like that, but it was hard, I think, for me to read it. So I'm gonna give it 3 conchas.
This is Sarah, and I'm gonna give it the whole boulangerie. I think that's how you say it.
Boulangerie.
The boulangerie. No, I don't have a French accent.
I don't have
But
Is that the bread store?
yes, it is the bread
Okay.
store. So it's like the whole panaderia, but in French.
Got it.
And with 2 café noir. Yeah. What about you,
Black
Jen?
coffee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it also 3 conchas. Like I didn't finish it because it was very hard for me to read, but at the same time it was very like uh very self-reflective, very made me kind of look at myself a little bit and my own aspects of my psyche where I'm just like maybe, can't do this all alone. I should probably see a psychiatrist or something. That's one of the first steps. I need to stop self-medicating. So definitely 3 conchas from me.
All right, guys. Now it's time for En La Libreria. Jen, what do you have for us today?
So today I have Charivari, Masks and Swords, a collaborative art book featuring 50 international artists all about carnivals, circuses, and other festivities, but with swords. So this is being done by Dames Zine. Dames Prod is a French independent publishing house created and managed by Flo and Indy. Both of them are illustrators and graphic designers, lovers of medieval fantasy, and so that's what all their projects
Ooh,
are about.
I
So
love that.
I know, right? So I'm just gonna read the story synopsis that they have right here on their campaign page. Charivari Masks and Swords is a collaborative art book about carnival, circuses, and other festivities, but with swords. It features 50 international artists, all who created exclusive illustrations for this project. Inside the book, you will find 50 exclusive illustrations created by our amazing artists, and at the end, a quick introduction to each of them. They've also created exclusive merch for this project. This will be our 7th edited art book. Since our first project in 2018, we have created our own indie publishing house, Dames Prod, where the two of us, Flo and Indy, work together to edit art books around themes we love. We feel incredibly lucky and grateful to be able to bring to life these projects and to work with these incredible artists every time. You might have seen our other art books funded by Kickstarter, Dames 2019, which was funded in 3 hours thanks to
Wow.
1,594 backers gathered 62,839 euros. The
Oh my
second volume,
goodness.
Dames Warrior Women of Legends 2021, was funded in just 45 minutes. And the third one, Dames Fantasy Warriors, gathered 882 backers and 61,003
Holy cow.
euros. Magical Nights 2023 got funded with 37,776 euros and 775 backers. We worked on two other art books, Bushy Dog, a Dogs in Armor Zine 2020, and Horns 2022, released through pre-orders on our online shop. We're also currently working on a fan-made series of Dungeons and Dragons magazines, La Gazette des Profonds, only available in French through our online shop. For each of our projects, we've released original merch too, from prints to enamel pins and even a notebook. And then they show pictures of their previous projects. We also have a few limited physical copies of Horns, which are sold out, Dames, Fantasy Warriors, and Magical Knights, if you missed these projects. As our physical books are available in very limited quantities, it's not possible to get more than one per backer. Damn, okay. And then they give an introduction to all 50 artists that they're going to be featuring. And they have all of their social media links as well, which is incredible. And then they have, please note, there is no AI involved in this project.
Nice.
Just talented and original real artists.
That's
Then
right.
they give you a preview of the book. The book is going to be 17 by 24 centimeters or 6 by 9 inches with a matte finish hardcover and around 80 pages. The cover is going to be illustrated by Juliette Cousin, and the layout was illustrated once more by Robo Feather, who has worked on their other projects before. And then they give a breakdown of how the insides of the books are going to be looking like, and the goodies that are going to be featured as well that you can add on as add-ons, as well as their stretch goals. You can always back without expecting a reward, but right now they are currently at $11,877 with a goal of $28,304 with 154 backers in 29 days to go.
Wow.
The base pledge right now is the early birds feature, which is the Harlequin feature, which is about 25 euros, which is about 30 USD. And this is the discount version of it. Then after that, there is the Troubadour, which this pledge comes with a digital book as well as its digital backgrounds. So this is just a PDF copy of the book, and that is going to be 8 euros, which is about 10 USD. After that, the pledge jumps up in price. There's the Jester, which is 25 euros or about 30 USD. This pledge comes with all the merch of the project but not the physical book, as well as all the merch available through stretch goals. So this is just like kind of like only like a merch tier. After that, there's going to be the Harlequin, not the early bird edition, and that's going to be 30 euros, which is about 36 USD. So if you can get that early bird one, you get about like a $6 discount, which isn't half bad. Then it jumps up to $55 for the physical book and rewards. And then after that, there is a retailer version, which is 188 euros or about $222. And it's with 10 copies of the book. And then that's all the tiers that they have for now because all the others are sold out.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I definitely do think they're going to hit their goal because they still have 25 days to go. And it's like a fun idea, a collaborative artwork about carnivals, circuses, but like with swords. I think that sounds and looks amazing.
That sounds totally awesome.
But yes, definitely check it out. It is Charivari, which is CHARIVARI on Kickstarter.
Cool.
All right, guys, now it's time for juntos y fuertes. Kristen, what do you have for us today?
So today I have for you, constant listeners, an organization that Eddie brought to my attention. And when I learned about it, I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. So he told me about an organization called Cartoonist Rights. And you can go to cartoonistrights.org to learn more information. But basically, it's an organization founded in 1999 by Robert Bro Russell. And the Cartoonist Rights Organization is the first global human rights organization to focus on the needs for protection of the socio-political cartoonists to carry out their work without fear of recrimination. Their work has helped cartoonists all over the world with legal, financial, emotional, and moral assistance so that they can do what they do best, advocate against the injustices of the world. And you can join them by making either a donation, become a cartoonist defender, or report our cartoonist in danger by going to cartoonistrights.org. So, for example, if Lalo started getting persecuted here in America for the political cartoons that he puts up against Trump and things like that, this organization could help him with legal help or help him to get somewhere safe. And the sad thing is I'm saying these words out loud as if they are not going to happen because we live here in America. But the reality is that the shit that's going on right now in our political climate, who the fuck knows? So again, the organization is cartoonists plural right.org. And if you want to learn more about what they do, their mission, their vision, you can find out about that. And then again, you can donate. And they say any amount is appreciated.
Absolutely. And also remember that if you are driving and listening to our episode, we put up all the links and the social media tags and information on our episode post. So just be sure to come back to it and maybe click on the link and support. All right, guys, now it's time for saludos. And today, saludos goes out to the man, the myth, the legend, Javier Hernandez. He currently has a Kickstarter out, Man of Mictlan #1. So check that out. It has 27 days to go as of right now. And you can follow him on Instagram at Javier Los Comics. That's JAVIERLOSCOMEX. Como Mexico. Comics. Anyway, also.
Is that why it's spelled that way?
That's what I think.
I had no idea. I just thought that the real spelling wasn't available for the URL.
Learn something new every day. But also wanted to shout out the fact that the Latino Comics Expo is again going to happen this year on a Sunday, December 7th of this year. So mark your calendars, be there. It's a completely free event. Support your local artists and check out some cool merch. It's going to be taking place again at the Museum of Latin American Art. And I'm highlighting this as well because Javier is working to put this event, to make this event possible. So shout out to him for all his hard work, but also check out his Kickstarter. Again, it's The Man from Mictlan, número uno. Número dos. Anyway, shout out to Javier. Please be sure to check out his Kickstarter. Please be sure to mark your calendars. And saludos goes out to you, my friend. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. Where can they find us, Kristen?
You can find us at complexities.com, where you can find links to all of our social media, as well as some links to some older Las Platicas that we did, and learn all about who we are as your fun-loving hosts. You can also find us on YouTube, where you can watch us at Comadre Comics Podcast, and you can always email us at comadrecomics@gmail.com.
Yes, absolutely. And also be sure to engage with us on social media. It always makes my heart happy when we get a message or we get a like or we get a comment. That's always super cool. So thank you for that. And also thank you for sharing your time with us. We really appreciate it. We have been your hosts. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Jen.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
This is placeholder media that you'll see if you add a layout to an empty scene. You can go ahead and delete it.